Yo, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another Steam 2 video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a build for the Warlock. My favorite current build for the Warlock, actually. Which is all about ignitions, ad clear, and having basically constant restoration. This build's been around for a while, but with the recent new mods, it basically pushed to be one of the best Warlock builds in the whole game. And if ignitions are your thing, then this is pretty much like the only build that you should be running, because it's the best one. Now the two things that you're gonna need for this build to make it work is gonna be the speaker side helmet and also the Tommy's matchbook plus the catalyst. You will need the catalyst on the Tommy's matchbook, so as long as you have these two things, then you pretty much have everything you need to make this build. So let's not waste any more time, let's get into it, and let's first talk about the weapons. Now our main weapon that we're gonna be using is gonna be the Tommy's matchbook, and this is like the perfect weapon for this build, but you do need the catalyst for this weapon. Because the catalyst is what's gonna let you scorch targets. Without it, it will not be able to do that. So the catalyst is pretty much required for this build. If you do not have the catalyst done yet, definitely get it done. Besides that, the Tommy's is just gonna be a good weapon. It has a built-in damage buff as you fire the weapon, and it also has a pretty big magazine. And it also pairs up perfectly with some of the new auto rifle mods, especially Sustained Fire. Sustained Fire is gonna give us that damage resistance as we like constantly damage an enemy. And since we have a really big magazine and we always want to damage an enemy anyways to get the scorch stacks on them, we're always basically going to have this procced, so we're always going to have the damage resistance. The other one, targeting auto-loader, is also going to be pretty good. It gives us extra damage, and we're also going to auto-reload the weapon if we get a couple of kills. I think we're still going to be using a loader, just because we're going to be firing the weapon so much that even with the auto-loading proccing every once in a while, we're still going to run out of ammo. But we're also going to be making so many ignitions that don't worry, we're going to have plenty of time to reload when all those ignitions are going off. And that's pretty much going to be like the main purpose of the Tommy's, to scorch things till they ignite. And with everything that we have, we actually can ignite them pretty quickly. We actually don't even have to hit them with 8 mils, not a grenade, not a melee. Use the Tommy's by itself is going to ignite them. And once we get one ignition, then it chains to other things, and they create more ignitions, and that gets those chaining ignitions going. But we can also help it with our melee. You want to ignite things a little faster, or with our Phoenix dive. But you could really just set back and just dump your mag into a champion and see it ignite pretty quickly. Now for our super, we're gonna be running Song of Flame because this thing is just ridiculous in PvE. It makes a ton of ignitions with our abilities, and we're also pretty much unkillable in Song of Flame. You have a ridiculous amount of damage resistance. So this was an easy choice. You can pop it and keep using your Tommy's, or you can just go and start spamming your abilities. Whichever way you like, you're going to be making lots of ignitions when you're super. Now for our melee, we're going to have the Incinerator Snap. This puts a ton of scorch stacks on targets. A couple of shots from the Tommy's, and this pretty much guarantees an ignition. So that's just another way of making some ignitions. For the grenade, we are going to be on the healing grenade. Since our exotic has to do with the healing, we'll be able to heal teammates and also kickstart the restoration for ourselves. Basically, after we throw the grenade, all we gotta do is just keep getting kills, and as long as we keep getting kills, we're always gonna have basically permanent restoration. This is really good, especially since the Tommy is supposed to be constantly damaging us while we use the weapon. I say it's supposed to, because with the ×2 restoration, you don't really feel it. You're basically always at full health anyways, so this is gonna be really good, and it also helps our teammates. Now for our aspects, we're gonna have the Helion and the Touch of Flame. Touch of Flame is so we can get those beefier solar grenades to get that ×2 restoration for us and our allies. And the Helion is gonna be another way to get some damage out there, get some more stacks on the target, and make some more ignitions. So we're just basically gonna have so many ways of making ignitions that everywhere we go is just gonna be blowing up in ignitions. Now moving on to the fragments, the first one we're gonna have is gonna be the Ember of Ashes. This is basically going to make it easier for us to reach those ignitions, and everything we do, we just apply more scorch stacks towards those ignitions. Our Tommy's, our Helium, our melee, basically everything that we do is going to apply more scorch stacks, and it's going to allow the chaining ignitions to happen. Next up, we're going to have Ember of Imperium. Whenever we get some solar final blows or ability final blows, it's going to extend our restoration, our radiant. So basically, after we get Radiant and Restoration from our grenade, or from picking up orbs, we're basically going to have it all the time. till we run out of enemies to kill. It's going to be really hard for the enemies to kill us, especially since we don't have just normal restoration, we have ×2 restoration. After that, we're also going to have Ember of Benevolence. Whenever we apply Restoration, Cure, or Radiant, our abilities will regen faster. And this is really good since we're always going to be healing our teammates. We're going to be throwing down our healing nade a lot. Not really necessarily for ourselves all the time, but mostly for our teammates to keep them alive. And it's also a good way to kickstart restoration if we somehow do lose it. That extra regen is also no joke, it's like 400%. So you're going to be getting your abilities back just crazy fast. Now for the final fragment, we're going to have the Ember of Char. And this pretty much is what makes those ignition chains happen. Those beautiful ignition chains, this is what makes it happen. If someone gets hit by an ignition, they're going to get a bunch of scorch that explode on them. And a lot of time they just ignite immediately, causing more ignitions and making the ignition train happen, where a bunch of ignitions just keep going off until pretty much everything is dead. So those are going to be our fragments right there, and you definitely want to pair those up with Solar Fulmination on the artifact, which is going to give our ignitions increased damage as well as increased blast radius. Now for our exotic, we do have the Speaker Sight, and this is the way that we're going to be helping our teammates and also making some orbs. The healing turret basically is giving everyone restoration ×2 is ridiculous, and it gives you a huge amount of survivability to you and your teammates. And with Emerald Benevolence, we're going to be getting back our abilities really quickly, so you're going to be able to toss out a bunch of turrets, pretty much. We're actually getting our stuff back so fast that a lot of times I was just sitting on a grenade because I had just gotten it back and I was just too busy just blowing everything up. So make sure that doesn't happen to you and that you're just throwing out your grenades out there. You're going to get them back. Trust me. Okay, so now we're going to be taking a look at the mods that we're running really quickly, and also taking a look at the other things that didn't mention on the artifact. So starting off with the helmet here, we have pretty much just things to get our super back faster. We have 2 harmonic siphons, so we can make some of those bigger orbs to get more super energy, and also hands-on to get some super energy from some of those melee kills. Our melee is going to be up pretty often thanks to Benevolence, so whenever we get some kills, we're going to get some of that extra super energy. For our gauntlets, we're going to have Impact Induction, Focusing Strike, and Harmonic Loader. Harmonic Loader so we can reload that homies a little faster, and this is just so we can get our abilities back faster as well. For our chest piece, we have Charged Up, so we can carry more of those armor charges, and also 2 resistances, depending on like the activity you're doing. Now for our boots, we're going to have Orbs Restoration, so we can get our ability energy back whenever we pick some orbs. Solar Weapon Surge to give even more power to our Tomies, and then Elemental Charge, so whenever we pick up some of those fire sprites, there's a chance that they give us some armor charge. Lastly, for our class item, we're going to have a Reaper and a Time Dilation mod, so our armor charge can last longer, so we always have that extra damage, and Reaper is so we can make some more orbs. So we're going to have quite a few things that are going to help us with the orbs, so we can always keep our armor charge up. The Reaper, the Exotic, the Siphons, so we should always have a lot of orbs on the ground for ourselves and also for our teammates. Now for our artifact, I already mentioned some of these, but we're going to have Shield Crush, Radiant Orbs, Counter Energy. Radiant Orbs is very important since that's like the main way that we're going to get Radiant. And since we're making a lot of orbs and we can extend the Radiant with our solar ability and weapon kills, we pretty much just need this to be constantly Radiant. And then we have Solar Fulmination, Targeting Out Loader, Sustain Fire. Press the MX, another pretty good one. Whenever we break some shields, we get Stability, Handling, Reload Speed, as well as Elemental Charge, Charged Up, and then of course Overload Out Rifle, so we can deal with those champions. But yeah, this is how you should have your artifact. And now, that's pretty much it. That's all in the build. So I'm gonna leave a link in the description, so you guys can give it a try if you guys just want to auto-equip it with them and take it into the GMs. It's pretty much ready for anything that you throw at it. It is a ridiculous build. Pretty much everything just lined up perfectly to give the... Pretty much everything just kind of lined up perfectly to give this build some more power. From the mod that increases like the size and damage of your ignitions, to all the other rifle mods. They're all just perfect for this build. And they make this thing, like I said, one of the best Warlock builds in the game right now. If you're playing any endgame content with a Warlock, then definitely give this a try. Something that I really love about this build is just how simple it is. All you gotta do is just basically throw your healing grenade down on the ground, and then just shoot the Tomies like you would normally. And thanks to all the other things that it's got going, the ignitions, the damage resistance, the extending of like restoration and radiant. It makes the Tomies into one of the best primaries in the game right now. It is crazy how good this weapon is right now. I can't believe that I actually haven't seen too many people talk about it. Mostly, probably because, you know, there's other things to talk about in the lefty community. But, you know, you would think that you would see this weapon being talked about maybe a little more. But hopefully you guys give this weapon a try. Hopefully you guys give this build a try. Take it in there. Tell me what you guys think about it. And if you do end up using, definitely come back and tell me what you guys thought about it. Anyways, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. If there's any gameplay left, I don't know if there is going to be any gameplay left. By the time I finish this, then I'll just let the rest of the gameplay play out. But thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.